Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Curtis Collins, and I am a current employee once again here at Stallion Oilfield Services. Today, we are going to go more in depth onto the credit card that our company provides you and some of the security risks that more associated with the card to kind of help you protect it so that, therefore, one, hopefully it doesn't get stolen and someone steals your identity and they use the money that's on the card and then you get liable for it and it goes into a lot of paperwork and then you have to show it's just a lot of unnecessary work, headaches that is just not needed. But let's go into this. We have our company credit card. Once again, we do have our Stallion logo on the credit card. It is provided with Wells Fargo and it is a chip. And the chip technology has really come along these past few years. Some may say, if that chip technology is around, there's always going to be someone out there that can counterfeit the chip. Okay, you can pretty much get everything counterfeit nowadays. That is correct. But I'll tell you this, the way this chip is designed, it is specifically set for this card. It is indented and put inside this card. So the only way you could possibly make this chip work is if you took out the chip itself, which therefore it's pointless because one, if they're able to take out the chip in the card, they're not going to give it back to you, so they can't play it off like, oh, they never took the card or the chip. So theoretically, if you still have the card, you're going to know, hey, the chip's not there. And you're not going to be like, well, let me just let days pass by. No, you as a concerned employee would go report the card, report the chip being gone or the card being stolen if they don't give the card back, and you're going to cancel it. So the chip's not going to mean anything anyways. It's not going to do them any good. It's not going to, in the long run, lose any money for anybody. But there's always ways to be counterfeited. And there is the problem with, you say, what if the chip's not working? Well, then is my card still going to work? And there it goes back to, yes, the card is still going to work. It can still be used. It still has the stripe strip on the back. It can still work just as a normal credit card. It don't have the technology. So now you're saying, okay, well, now that can be counterfeited. You've just showed me a loophole in the credit card system because now they can counterfeit the card and they can make it without the chip and it will still want to read it. That's incorrect. The way these are made, like I was describing before, they're indented in the card and they're set with the card. And even with the chip not working, if the chip is not in the card cannot be swiped, the card cannot be used. So the card is putting in, it's no longer valued. It's voided and it can't be transactioned or stolen. But that still brings into the topic of what you have to do, the main basics when you have the company credit card. This is still your card. It has your name on it. It is set to you. It is still your responsibility. Anytime you're using the card, anytime you go to an ATM, you still need to be cautious and watch your surroundings. Make sure there's no one around because there's always people paying attention even when you're not paying attention. Because there's always people that are out to get things that they did not earn. So just make sure you're covering up your PIN so that no one can see it. You don't need to share your PIN with nobody. It's strictly for you. The company was able to get you that PIN that you provided for them for the card. You don't have to give it back to the company. You don't have to give it to your friend. You're responsible for everything that is bought and purchased with this card. So you have to show receipts. So whenever transactions start coming up and you say you didn't buy them, you didn't purchase them, that's when they start investigating. And that's why with all this technology, the chip, they know obviously if this card was swiped, it had the chip inside of it. So they know they couldn't have counterfeited this chip that goes inside this card because they're set together. So if something was bought with this card, it was with this card. Well, now how was someone bought with it if you didn't buy it? That means you don't have the card. Well, why didn't you report the card stolen? It falls into a whole roll, as soon as you notice that you don't have your card, you need to report it to us immediately so we can cancel the card to stop any further charges. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I do appreciate you taking the time today and listening to this whole video, and I do hope that next time you will be more aware of your surroundings and more cognizant and know that these cards really are worth their new technology we're getting into, and that you can't really counterfeit the chips. The chips are just uncounterfeited and they're set with the card. So to this day and age, they can't be counterfeited. Maybe one day, but not today. So I appreciate you. Thank you again.